Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. Today we're going to be checking out a really special guitar. This is my 2002 Squier Double Fat Strat. Let's check it out. Welcome back everybody, my name is DJ, I'm a guitarist from the southwest of the UK. I've been playing guitar for around about 20 years or so at this point, and today I wanted to show you and share with you this guitar. It might look like a really unspecial guitar. It's a 2002 150-pound Squier Stratocaster. However, this guitar is the guitar that I was given by Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day when I played with him, Trey Cool and Mike Dunn at the Distortion Tour at Coopersfield, Cardiff Castle on the 19th of July 2002. Let me explain. So 15-year-old me hopped on a train with a bunch of friends at about 9 a.m. and we headed to Cardiff, which is about a 2-hour train ride from where we're at. We arrived at the venue about 11 o'clock in the morning, which is way earlier than anyone had even begun to think about getting there, because we wanted to be first in line. Green Day was my gateway band. They were the band that got me into kind of heavier music. I appreciate they're just a pop punk band, but for me, listening to albums like Dookie and Nimrod growing up, they were like punky fast. They weren't pop music, they were rock music, and it was them that led me slowly and surely down the darker path towards metal. So Green Day are a really special band to me, certainly their older stuff anyway. I digress. There I was sitting in the sunshine, 11 o'clock in the morning on the 19th of July 2002 with my friends, and slowly and surely throughout the day more and more people kind of joined the back of the queue, but we were literally the first in the queue that particular day. Fast forward through the day, bands like A, 100 Reasons, Iggy Pop, they were all there. It was a Distortion tour. Green Day's album Warning had not long come out, and this was the tour they were doing to promote that album. Green Day starts, they play their first 45 minutes, maybe an hour of their set, and then they do this thing that they so often do when they play live, and they play this song called Knowledge, which is a really simple song, and they invite 3 people up from the crowd to play the instruments while the 3 of them sing the song. They got a drummer, no idea who he was, but just some kid from the crowd. They got a bassist, again, just some kid from the crowd, and then they asked for a guitarist, and they asked in the crowd, does anyone play guitar? Does anyone play guitar? And they picked this guy who just so happened to be a buddy of mine called Ant from a nearby town. Anyway, they said, how long have you been playing guitar? And he was like,
oh, like 10 years.
He went, you'll be too good. Sorry, not today. Anyway, after he said that, I was screaming in the front row, blue hair on my head, and yeah. He picked me and he said, come up here, you blue-haired freak. Security lifted me up on stage. They slung this guitar around my neck with the radio pack on it and everything. And he looked at me, Billy Joe, all sweaty and drunk and probably other things. And he showed me the chord progression to Knowledge. And he was like, can you handle that? And I was like, out of my mind. It was like an out-of-body experience. Staring out at 32,000 people when I was 15 years old, and like playing through the loudest PA and the biggest amps I'd ever even seen. I'd only been playing guitar for like a year at this point, if even that, so I'd barely grasped what power chords were. He showed me the chord progression. I have absolutely no idea if I played it right, because all I can remember genuinely from that moment is almost like I stood up too fast. Like, you know, when you stand up too fast, you get a sudden rush of blood down to your legs and your head just like you go all lightheaded and you're not quite in your body and you kind of feel like you've gone into the future a little bit. I had that feeling. That's all I can really remember. I can remember looking out and I could see this sea of people, of just faces just looking up at me, and I could see all the food vendors way at the back of the arena. It was an outdoor arena, Coopersfield, Cardiff Castle. I could see all the food vendors, and there was like a few like fairground rides or whatever, and I can remember all that. And I can remember kind of looking down and seeing my friends at the front of the crowd, and that's kind of all I can remember. And then the next thing I can remember is apparently the song finished and they were sort of like saying well done to the musicians and all the rest of it. And I was just walking off stage and there was a stage technician or someone kind of welcoming me off the stage, make sure I got off stage and stuff. And he said, "Hey DJ." And I turned around and he went,
"You get to keep the guitar, man."
And I couldn't believe it. You know, all I had up until this point was some crappy Argos own first guitar that I had, that I've still got and I love and cherish very much. But to be given a brand new guitar was just blew my mind. The guitar that I got to play on stage with Green Day. Absolutely bananas. I couldn't believe it. So here I was walking off stage and I was just sort of carrying it, you know, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed off stage, like, what the hell, what, you know. So I was walking off stage and I got to watch the next little section of the show from the side of the stage. The difficulty is that I was only 15 years old. Mobile phones didn't exist back then, really, not in a common capacity like they do nowadays. And so I had to get the train back home, so I couldn't hang about after the show to get this signed, unfortunately, and I had to take it home in like a couple of big black like bin bags because they didn't want me to get mugged and robbed on the way home on the train. So they sent me off with this guitar in a bin bag because I had to leave pretty quickly just after Green Day finished to get back to the train station. And so yeah, so that was that night. That was my story of how I got this guitar, this really, really special guitar. Now, remembering, of course, this was 2002, we hadn't even thought that mobile phones would have cameras one day, so cameras weren't really around. So the only one single photograph that I have of this whole event was taken by my friend Danny on his Kodak disposable camera that he brought to the show, and it is the worst, most terrible photo you've ever seen, and you'd be forgiven for going,
"That's not you,"
because you just can't make it out. But you have to just believe me that that is me on stage. You can just about see my blue hair. Apart from the guitar and the wonderful memories, that's the only memento that I've got. I have still got his strings that he had on the guitar when he gave it to me, and I have also still got the guitar pick that he gave me as well. Now, the guitar itself, I'll run you through some specifications just for fun. So this is the Squier Double Fat Stratocaster from 2002. Alrighty, so the body is made of a wood called agathis with a polyurethane black sparkle finish. The neck is maple, again with a polyurethane finish and a fast action C shape. It's a 25.5-inch scale with a rosewood fretboard, and we've got 22 nickel frets, fretboard radius of 9.5 inches and a synthetic bone nut. It's got that really, really cool oversized 70s headstock, and this originally came with a humbucker and 2 single coils, and I gigged this heavily for many, many years because it was the best guitar that I owned. And that probably sounds crazy because it was such a special guitar, but it was the best guitar that I had and I couldn't afford a better guitar, so I gigged this for a long time. And just recently I got it repaired because it had a really gnarly issue where the 2 bridge poles had eaten their way into the body and the bridge just was lifted right up and off. So I sent it off to my buddy Mark at Wilt's Guitar Repairs. Massive shout out to Mark, as always. And he's just blocked off the trem and kind of set it as best he can, but it would need to be kind of set with a hardtail in order to get it fixed, because the bridge pole pieces have just eaten into the body so much over the years, where it's just kind of cheap wood. But it's kind of stood the test of time, and recently when I gave it to Mark to have that bridge repaired, we put in a really nice set of pickups from a local company called Black Penny Pickups, and they're based on a 63 Strat pickups, and they are absolutely amazing pickups. Now, single coils wouldn't usually be associated with metal, but I'll put a mix together, so have a listen to this and see how it sounds in a full mix. Now, obviously, this doesn't really get played that much these days. It's got really nice pickups in it, and like I said, Mark set the bridge up really, really nicely for me, so it does play and it does work, because unfortunately it was unplayable for a little while where that bridge had damaged itself into the body and it just couldn't be played. But it's really nice to be able to play it again, and it hangs on my wall very, very proudly, just sitting there reminding me of probably one of the best days of my whole life, certainly a deathbed memory that I'll take with me to the grave. Amazing story that I get to tell to people that I meet, and you know, people that fellow musicians like myself, and it's just a really cool kind of tale to tell whenever I get the chance to tell it. So I wanted to share it with you all today, and I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed this little kind of sitting down and chatting with me about this particular guitar. Bit of a different one today, but I thought it'd be fun to share it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. If you'd be so kind, I would love it if you would drop a like on this story. Feel free to put a comment down below as well. I'd love to chat with you down in the comment section. And if you'd be so inclined, I'd love it if you would subscribe as well. I'm trying to hit my first 100 followers here. It'll be my first little milestone on YouTube, so I'd massively appreciate it. And I promise I will try my best to keep you entertained if you give me your subscription. Thank you so much, and hopefully I will catch you again very soon. Take care, everybody. In a bit.